Hi, my name is Dwight Gillespie. Welcome back to the Change Your Life channel. What we do here is we talk about ways that you can improve your life, improve the quality of life, and just in general, live better. We talk about things, spiritual development, physical development, things like that. Anyway, and they're mostly from my life experience. Take it for what it's worth. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button. By all means, share this with your friends if you find anything useful in it, even if you don't. You can leave comments, especially if you don't like it. Go ahead, leave comments below. We answer all the comments here. And without any further ado, we'll get into it. Today, what we're going to talk about. Now, we started this, and actually I started with the second one first because it was pertinent to what I was talking about before. There's a great book by a guy named Don Miguel Ruiz. It's called The Four Agreements. And, I don't plug a lot of books on here. In fact, I think I can count them on one hand. I love The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, and there are some, Bright Line Eating by Susan Pierce Thompson, Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson. And I talk about those 4 books because those 4 books had a major impact on my life as far as really getting my stuff together and leading a better life. They haven't made me wealthy. They haven't made me, living beyond my wildest dreams. Well, in some ways they have, but it's not about money. It's about a spiritual presence. It's about knowing that I'm treating myself better. I always say, I have friends who say, I'm in a recovery program, as you know, if you've been watching these, right? And I always say, I like the people say, I look in the mirror today and I say, I love you. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to day 38, and because it's just, to me, and that's fine. If you do that, that's great, to love yourself, I suppose. I'm the guy, I look myself in the mirror today and I go, I don't hate you and I'm not actively trying to destroy you anymore. I'm not out to end you, and I can do that honestly. And I do that through these things that I do, I have a very good life and I'm a very blessed person. And oftentimes I have to remember where I came from. Right. And how I got here. Now, recovery has a lot to do with it. The 12-step program that I'm involved with has a lot to do with it. Highly recommend 12-step programs. I think they're fantastic. If you do what you're asked to do there, you can learn to live without whatever malady it is you're suffering from, whether it be drugs or alcohol or food. Alcohol is a drug. Food, whatever it is, sex, love, like there's all these things. There are almost 40 different 12-step programs, just so you can Google that. And but anyway, this was one of the books that I read early on, and it really impacted me. And I can't say that I can do this 100%, on any of them. But being cognizant of them and trying to work on each of them at time. There's another one that I read. There's Benjamin Franklin, his book of virtues, when he talks about there were 13 different virtues that he wrote down, and he would work on these repeatedly until he felt that he had some kind of mastery over them. And he said you're never going to master these things entirely, but if you can make them better. I think the one he said he always had a hard time with was organization. But anyway, in this particular book, there are 4 things. The one is be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally, which is one that we did last week, I guess, a couple weeks ago anyway. The other, don't make assumptions, which I love, right? Don't make assumptions. Oh, I'll never get that job. I'll never get that girl. I'll never do it. Never, never, never. You can't make those assumptions, and you're making assumptions about how people think about you, make assumptions about how you think about other, whatever. And always do your best. That's the last one, is always to do your best. Now, we did one, as I said, on don't take anything personally. And we did that video, and we'll air it at some point. And today we're going to do be impeccable with your word, which is the first one. And he goes into this idea of what that means. And what I'm going to give you is my take on these 4 agreements, because I think they're fantastic. And it's a great book to pick up. I highly recommend reading it. And I like books. I don't think that Kindle stuff I don't go for. I get a physical book and I can highlight it and I make notes in it. And this way I can pick it up later and I get it and I reread it again. I've read that book probably 3 times maybe. And it's a very quick read. It's a very easy read. But applying it is far more intense than reading it, and everything comes in the application. We've got videos about that. About putting in the work. It's not just about saying you're going to do it. You have to put in the effort to get it done. And being impeccable with your word is no different. And what makes this so hard and difficult for people, right, is be impeccable with your word. And what does that mean to me? And that's what I'm going to talk about, what that means to me, being impeccable with my word. It's not just about being honest. And I've always had a problem with honesty. And it's the most honest thing I can tell you. I have been a compulsive liar in my life, a compulsive liar. I grew up in a house of compulsive liars. It's my take, all right? In case certain people are watching, that's my take on it. Is that I grew up with a group of compulsive liars, and I learned to lie at a very early age. I always lied, and then I told stories and whatever. And I remember saying this to somebody. I said, "Well, I don't understand." And I said, "What do I have to go back and correct?" He said, "No, just stop telling the stories. Just stop doing it." So that. Be impeccable with your word, right? Say what you mean what you say, and be honest with people, and you'll get along a lot better. And it really is easier, right? If you don't lie, then you don't have to remember the lie, then you don't have to make a lie and cover another lie, and it goes on with that. But being impeccable with your word, to me, is even deeper than that, right? Be impeccable with your word, especially to yourself, right? No is a complete sentence. I remember hearing that. No is a complete sentence. You want to come help me move my stuff on Saturday? Yeah, I could really use your help. No, I don't want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm 59. I got a bad back. No. We did one on manipulation and how people get you to agree to things before you agree to them. When people say, instead they say, well, what are you doing Saturday? And he said, well, I don't really have any plans, because you're thinking like, oh, they want to go hang out, right? Oh, well, because I'm moving, man, and I could really use your help. No, I don't have any plans, but that sure as hell is not going to be my plan. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be 100 degrees out. I'm not moving. Hire a company. I'm not going to do that. And that's it. And I thought you were my friend. No. Don't let the guilt and the manipulation and all that other stuff that goes along with that get the better of you. No means no, and yes means yes. You're breaking up with somebody. Well, why? Because I no longer feel that way for you. That's in being impeccable with your word. And let me tell you, rip that Band-Aid off quick, and it's a lot easier. Well, why? Well, it doesn't matter why. My reasons are my reasons. I don't want to be here anymore. That's it. That's the bottom line, right? I'm being impeccable with my word. And that means keeping my word to myself as well. And we talk about this a lot as well. We all have these great plans and these wishes and these grand ideas that we may have and everything like that. And Walter and I were just talking about doing a short, right? We want to do some short films, just enjoy that kind of stuff. I want to write it. Oh, great. So we sit down. Yeah, that's a great thing. There was I remember Saturday Night Live, Billy Crystal. There was a Billy Crystal character, and I forget the other guy because there's always two of them. May have been John Lovitz. I don't know. But I know Billy Crystal was definitely in it. And it was, that's another thing we're never going to do. That's another thing we're never going to do, And it can be that way. And being impeccable with your word means keeping your word to yourself. You want to do it. Sit down, write the scripts, get people to act it out, and come up with whatever budget it's going to be, which is going to be real low, right? and go with it. But to do these things, and not just in things like this, but in bigger things as well, because the bigger things are, getting healthy and quitting smoking and getting an education. I'm going to go back to school one day. Well, when is one day? What is, I did one on tomorrow. The great thing, tomorrow's going to be the greatest day ever. Well, why? Oh, because tomorrow I'm going to stop watching porn. I'm going to stop, smoking. I'm going to stop using drugs. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to do all these wonderful things tomorrow. And the great thing about tomorrow is it never comes. There's never tomorrow. Tomorrow's never here. Today, this is all we got. Yesterday's gone, and tomorrow, there's no promise on tomorrow. You get hit by a bus. Don't cheat on your wife. Anyway, that's an inside thing between Walter and I. Tomorrow never gets here. You never have to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's never here. It's never here. It's always going to be tomorrow, right? And making those plans and sticking to them and being impeccable with your word. Being impeccable, saying yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no. And if you're uncertain, telling people, I'm uncertain about that. I don't have enough information, right? I don't like to look stupid. So, I know. I don't know. I don't know. I remember coming into recovery, and I had such a hard time with recovery, with giving up that lifestyle for a long time because I thought I knew everything. When I came in, I came into my first recovery meeting in 1983. 1983. It is now 2022, okay? I'm clean 9 years, 11 months, and 16 days today. And we do this when people say that. Yeah. But that's not for me. That's for the recovery process, right? Because I finally listened. I didn't do anything but listen. I finally said, these people know more than I do, right? I don't know everything. My best laid plans, right? That all of this had turned to crap. And I made a commitment to myself, and I followed through with it. I was impeccable with my word. I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I got to tell you, when I came in this time, I said to myself, I said, I'm going to give these people 30 days to give me some hope. And if they don't give me hope in 30 days, I'm gonna end my life. And I meant it. Like people had no idea how important all their words were to me, and they did. Within a day, my first meeting back was a great meeting, and when I went in there, they filled me with hope. Like I looked at these people and I saw people, and because I looked at them and because I understood that I didn't know what they knew, that these people had been staying clean for decades, and they knew how to do that. They knew how to get off drugs, stay off drugs, and live a drug-free life. They knew how to do this, and I didn't. And I gave myself over to that, and I was impeccable with my word. I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to do this, right? Because everything was at stake for me, and it still is. And I treat that in my life the same way. And it's the same way I was able to quit smoking. It's the same way that I was able to implement a diet and exercise program in my life. And because I've been impeccable with my word, especially where it counts. It doesn't mean I'm 100% honest. I'm not perfect with this. But because I'm doing so much better, because I'm cognizant of how important it is to thine own self be true, right? To be honest with myself about who I am and what I am and how I am, right? To accept that, to accept my defects, to accept my assets, to accept all those things about myself and be impeccable to myself, to not lie to me, especially. And then it translates out to other people where I can be honest with them as well. And people ask me, Joe, I don't know why this is so hard for me. They say, this doesn't work. I don't know why this isn't working. And I listen, again, be impeccable, right? It's because you're not doing it. You're not doing the simple things that are asked of you. You're not following the suggestions that were laid out for you. I have a guy, they call it a sponsor, and they call it a sponsor in every fellowship. And when I asked this particular guy to sponsor me, he said, well, are you willing to go to meetings? Are you willing to do work? Are you willing to get a commitment? Are you willing to get a home group? Are you willing to call me on a regular basis? He said, if you can agree to those things, then I'll sponsor you. He said, but I'm not here just for you to say that you have a sponsor or whatever like that. I don't do that. And he said, because if you're not willing to do those things, then you don't need me. You're guiding yourself, and you're going to guide yourself right over a cliff because you don't know what you're doing. And he was absolutely right. And I agreed to all those terms because I was absolutely desperate to change. And it's funny how desperation will bring about impeccability in your word, because when I became desperate, I was willing to do anything and try anything. And that included being honest, if only with myself. You know what I mean? It took a while for some of the other stuff to really take hold. But because of this, I've been able to do wonderful. I wrote this book. And this is all because of recovery. I was able to write this book. Whether you like it or not, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. I did it. And nobody can ever take that away from me. There are people who hate that, right? I have family members who, I hate that. It's all a bunch of lies. I don't think it is. That's your opinion. But you can't do it. And I did. And that bothers them more than anything else, which is another topic altogether. They're jealous. And that's okay. I did something they couldn't do. And in my family, it's always been, if somebody's doing something you want to do, but you're too lazy and you haven't started it, and it's one of those future plans, one of those things you're going to do tomorrow, right? And other people are doing it today, well, you naturally hate them for it. And you hate everything about it. And it's a horrible book. And you don't know how to write. And you're horrible. And you're a liar. And you're this and you're that. But what I am is a person who set a goal, said I'm going to do this, and accomplished that goal. And why? Because I was honest with myself. I set the time. I made my goals. I stuck to it. I had a writing schedule. I hired an editor. I edited it with this person. This person said, I need this chapter, this chapter, this chapter by this time. And I met those deadlines. And because of that, I have a completed project. I have a completed book. It's a very good book, by the way. Judge it for yourself. You can pick it up. It's a good book, right? Anyway, that's my topic for today, was being impeccable with your word. We're going to do the other two. As I said, we already did the second one, which is don't take anything personally. So we're going to do them. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. We'll do that at a future date. Tune in. It's a great book, too. You may want to pick it up. It's also available wherever books are sold. 4 Agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz. Help yourself to it, man. It's a great book. All right? Be well. My name is Dwight. I want to thank you for tuning in. Be well. Have a great week. And as always, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button, comment, share, do all that good stuff. And tune in next time, all right? And hopefully we'll lead a better life. We'll show you how to change your life. Be well. Take care now.